My name is Engineer SSENKUNGU HASSAN, an aspirant or a contesting member of Parliament, Kawempe South, where we are right now, and also as his own engineer. At the same time, I head a savings group in Wandagia. The question that has been raised by my colleague here, or my moderator, what are the different things? What are the skills? What are the things that a person needs to have if they would love to be in the field of politics or be useful as leaders? Before we even attack that question, we need to understand who a leader is. There are very many people here, they live a mistaken life of thinking and assuming different things. I'm seeing we have a lot of young lads still in secondary. We need to always understand before attacking anything, before you think of being a leader, you need to first ask yourself the very critical questions. Am I a leader? What does it take to be a leader? Who is a leader? In the perspective of leadership, some people think leadership to be politicians. If someone says I'm a leader, he thinks he's a politician. No. A leader is that person who has a mentality to attack an environment without question. He can start up, he can focus, he can view things in a different angle. Okay? Leaders, Mubarak talked of the different people who started the leading companies of IT we know nowadays, like Zuckerberg. Those people are leaders. They took a step into an environment they didn't know, and they did what they had to do to take whatever they wanted to take to the top. So if you really want to be a leader, do not envision leadership in the only line of politics. Envision leadership as the zeal to start, the zeal to hustle your project from that day one. As an engineer, I started my own company, and I've understood that the zeal I had to start taught me that I can do anything that I want to do. That's why now people are seeing me going into politics. Because I can start, I'm a leader. Okay? But now, when you want to become a leader, or when you want to be a leader, first ask yourself those questions. First ask yourself those key matters. Am I really a leader? It throws us back to the main important question of who you are. Please, if you're not a leader, it's not a problem. Allah created everyone with the ability to be useful. The biggest problem is trying to be what you're not. It turns out you'll be hustling in an area, you'll be hustling in an area you're not very familiar with, or Allah didn't create you to be. It brings a lot of problems in the world when a person tries to be what they're not to be. Leaders, the biggest things that you need to focus on, I'm going to request that if you have a notebook, please don't let it aside. There is something called critical thinking. All leaders have the capacity to do critical thinking. Critical thinking doesn't mean looking at a matter the way it is. It means looking at all the environments of the matter. What is the unspoken environment? What is the unspoken fact about what someone is saying? Example, right now I'm presenting, but some of you are just listening. But leaders have that ability to try and see the emotional part of every word I speak. What is this gentleman trying to communicate to us? What is that unknown information? If he says part A, what is the unknown bit of part A? I can give you a very simple story. In Japan, during the World War, Japan used to attack USA. Japan used planes mostly to attack USA. When it attacked USA, most of its flights, the aeroplanes which went to bomb, like on Pearl Harbor, most of the planes did come back, but some planes came back. Please, move with me. Some planes would go and some wouldn't come back. Some would go and they come back. Scientists sat down and they asked themselves in the army, what are we going to do to ensure that we have more planes coming back? It is always a good thing for a plane to go onto the battlefield, then it comes back in war. That means you have a plane leveraged that can go again. It's a loss when a plane is hit on battle. Okay? So planes would go, some would come back, some would not come back. Scientists in the army sat down to analyze that issue. The biggest analysis that was conclusively drawn was, let us increase the hard metals on areas where we see bullets past. Where we see holes, let us put more metal onto that area. But that has a problem. The more weight a plane has, the less bombs it carries. Remember, it has a particular weight it has to take to the battle. But if you increase the weight of the outside airplane, you're reducing on the contents you'll be putting inside the plane to take to war. One scientist came up and argued to them. He told them that, gentlemen, you're focusing on where the bullets hit, but you're not focusing on where the bullets did not hit. He made them understand that every plane that was able to come back after the war, it was not hit at the engine area. That means every plane that went to war and didn't come back, even if it didn't get any hitting on any other place, and it got a hitting on the engine, it would not come back. He told them, stop focusing on where the bullets hit. Let us focus on where the bullets did not hit. Meaning, if a plane is not hit at that point, it will come back. If it is hit at that point, it will not come back. He brought to them an understanding that it is not always straight to take or to look at the information the way it's given. Always have an additional understanding, a deeper digging on every information that is given. Critical thinking. This engineer, one of the analysts, helped them, and he told them that instead of building a bigger armory around the plane, please just make the engines more protected only. What does that mean to leaders? If a leader is not a critical thinker, he will not be able to analyze some facts that are really, really very important, so that he helps his people to take good decisions, and he helps his company or whatever thing he's working on to move ahead. Critical thinking, number one. It's a very important issue if you really want to be a leader. The other thing is personal development. Personal development is an aspect that very many people get to speak about. A leader, you have to give yourself some self-time. Self-time. Go to a beach. Go to a place. Sit down and ask yourselves, who am I? What can I be? What can I do? What am I good at? There's something called a SWOT analysis. It is very essential for any person to always do something called a SWOT analysis. That is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You're not going to lead anyone. You're not going to be a good leader unless you really understand yourself. You've done a very proper SWOT analysis on yourself. It is very important. It is better done when you're still young. If you're here and you're in your S3, if you're here and you're in your, those classes before you really get to decide on what you want to become, please give yourself some time in the tree at your school. Be alone. Ask yourself those critical questions. What am I best at? What is my problem? What don't I do best? What do my friends critique me about? What do my friends find me good at? What do I think I am? Those critical questions will help you analyze and properly align your career, properly align yourself in the right lane. Leadership is not something easy. It's not something you just say, I want to be a leader, and you become. No. These people who contest and they come out, it's not something that comes from the green that they just thought about it out of the blue. No. he took time to think about it, to analyze himself, and he came out. So SWOT analysis is really some of the things that someone needs to do as a leader. I'm going to run through it, because if someone asks me a question of what are the things a person needs to do so that they become a leader, and I'm talking to such a crowd of young men, I have to focus on the really primary things that are important before even we go to the upper part of you need to have a good political party, issues like that. No. What are you? Are you going to do the very right thing to be in the line of leadership? Number 3, every leader, you need to have a sense that can accept criticism. A sense that can accept criticism. This man here is too bold enough to say that I was third. Yeah? That's boldness. A leader is a person who has the ability to go on the battlefield knowing that he's not stronger than the opponent, but he goes anyway. He stands there, he gets beaten, he sees his opponent being raised a hand, and he's beside him. But he has the ability to speak on a microphone and say, I've failed today, I might not win tomorrow, I may not win the next year, but one day I will win. That is the zeal of a leader. If you do not have it in yourself, please, that is not your field. If you feel you're too ashamed to see another one win, you're that person always in the dormitory trying to belittle people, you're that person who's in the dormitory trying to fight for things and ensuring that you're always a winner. Leaders are not people who fight for leadership. Leaders take leadership. They do. They just do without question. Okay? So having the ability to accept criticisms is a very critical issue in a leader. I'm giving you this point so that you check yourself as a young lad, as a young person. Are you that kind of person who accepts criticism? If a person abuses you, do you fight back? Do you wage war? No. Then you're not a leader. You have to be that person who really takes in something, it pains you, and hold it inside your heart. And it shapes your idea, or it shapes what you have to do so that you overcome whatever the criticism was about. Leaders, there is something called critical listening. Okay? A person has to have a 90-10. A leader, I'm talking about leaders. I'm not going to talk about any other professionalism. A 90-10 kind of skill. You listen 90 and talk 10. Please talk less if you want to be a leader. Be more of a listener. Be more of a learner. Let other people teach you the environments they're going through than you trying to influence them with whatever you feel is very right. That is also a very important skill to have as a leader. One of the things people do not understand or people take for granted is something called reading. Nowadays, reading has become really less. It's becoming less and less in the youths. Okay? I understand reading was a factor used by the elderly to gather knowledge. Nowadays, we have different ways we get our knowledge. Find a way of gathering knowledge. As much knowledge as you can. It's really important to know things as a leader. You're not going to lead people when you can't even state the years. You can't even state the most important critical things that have been happening in the world. Get ways of gathering knowledge. If you can't read, find ways of gathering knowledge, and also always have a notebook. A leader has to have a book written by almost at every end of a period, in a year. Can you revisit your book? What are the different things or notes you've been taking all over you've been gathering here and there, here and there, here and there. A leader has to have the ability to take notes, to write their own book. It might not be organized in a sense of a book or a novel that someone can read, but you must have your notes well organized at every step you've been at. So those are some of the critical issues that I really think young leaders need to have.